coming here today in support of ADA and this event, which is here to discuss what's going on in Albania. Armo, Alpetro, Alptelecom, Gurdets, January 21, AEY, Fatmir Mediu, Lulzim Basha, Damir Falzic, Mihal Delayorgi, Shgelzen Berisha, Argita Berisha. What do they all have in common? They're all symbols of the corrupt, decaying, authoritarian regime of Salih Berisha. They're also symbols of broken promises and broken dreams. The broken promises of Salih Berisha, who lied his way back into power in 2005 when he told Albanians he was going to clean up corruption, only to make things worse. And the broken dreams of Albanians. Because after 5 decades of darkness, when Albanians emerged from Enver Hoxha's brutal communist oppression, they had great expectations for democracy and what it would bring. Unfortunately, they have been let down by false prophets. And Berisha is the #1 culprit of blocking Albania's forward progress as a legitimate democracy. His word is not questioned. He punishes those who oppose him, like members of the media, who he has beaten up or intimidated through tax authorities, having them closed down. I'd still like to know what happened to my friend Costa Trebiska, who I worked with to expose AEY. I want to know what happened with that accident on that road in Albania and why he was killed in a car accident that really no one ever came up with a solution to. And Berisha feeds his cronies and his family with state assets, while most Albanians still have trouble putting food on their tables. And Berisha is responsible for twisting the concept of the rule of law into the law of the jungle, Berisha's jungle. This is not the Albania that was envisioned by Ismail Cemali or Fanoli. It's not what Muzene Kokalari envisioned when she was an early advocate for democracy. As is well known, she was harshly persecuted for her beliefs by Enver Hoxha, while Salih Berisha sat at Enver's feet like an obedient dog. As an example of the corruption of the Berisha regime, I have here a document. It's a bulletin from the government of Albania. It was published, it's called Bulletin number 133. It was published on October 12th of 2012. And what this is a document that analyzes the Alpetrol deal and told why the Alpetrol deal was such a great deal for Albanians to sell this company to Razat Taci, Salih Berisha's friend. On this page, on this paragraph 13, Patton Boggs, the consultant to Salih Berisha, talks about what a great deal it is. And it talks about how an essential part of the deal, a financial guarantee from American Chartered Bank for 85 million euro, $110 million was legitimate. They checked with the bank and it was a good guarantee. And because of this, they decided to give this award Alpetrol to Vetro Silk Road, which was controlled by a man named Matthew Rozak from Chicago, and in the background was Razat Taci. And this document was signed by Salih Berisha as Prime Minister. And as I said, that was in October of 2012. A month earlier, in September, I sent a letter to Frank Wisner of Patton Boggs. I sent him an email. And I told him that Vetro, in my opinion, was a suspicious company. I told him Rozak had problems. In fact, he was the subject of a complaint from the Securities and Exchange Commission that charged him with insider trading, which is a crime here in the United States. So they knew that this man was the man that was going to be in control of El Petro. I also told him about American Chartered Bank. I had analyzed the bank, and this is not a bank that's involved in international business. It's not a very big bank. I told them it was impossible for them to come up with a $110 million guarantee. Yet 1 month later, the Albanian government said this deal is good. American Chartered is a good bank. The guarantee is good. But then I got an email from the attorney for American Chartered Bank. And it says, I can confirm that American Chartered Bank was not involved in the transaction in question. It was a fraud. This was a fraud. I can only think of two reasons why Berisha thought he could get away with this fraud. One, he believes that Albania is filled with budalas. Or two, he just doesn't care what anyone thinks. And he has the audacity to do as he pleases in true dictatorial style. Just like he did when he replaced the CEC official with one of his own puppets, a stooge from Fatmir Mediu's Republican Party. The same Fatmir Mediu who brought Albania Gurdets and AEY. My family's been involved with the Albanian American community for the past century. My grandfather was president of Vatra when Vatra was a respectable organization. My father, who served here in the U.S. Army Air Corps during World War II, was a leader of Albanian organizations like Vatra and Albanian Center of New York, as was my mother, my beloved mother, who passed away in April. And I helped organize and worked with well-known Albanian American organizations. My family worked to bring him out. My family also worked to establish religious organizations for Albanians, both Muslim and Christian. We worked to bring humanitarian aid to Albanians when Albania opened from communism. We worked to bring humanitarian aid to the Kosovars when they were pushed from Kosovo by Milosevic. And we also worked to lobby for the independence of Kosovo. And as three generations of Albanian Americans who are proud to be American, but just as proud to be Albanian, I think we know something about the way a true democracy should work. And if you don't like that, there's Eddie Rahman's coalition. But I don't think it's our place to sit here and tell Albanians who to vote for. But when we see wrong, and when we see warning flashing signs of a totalitarian state emerging, when we see the rule of law in reality is the law of the jungle, then as Albanian Americans who are proud to be Albanian and know the great potential that Albania has, it's our right and our duty to speak out. Just like when Albanian Americans spoke out loud and clear against Slobodan Milosevic. I was one of the people that helped lobby to bring the NATO bombs to Kosovo that removed Milosevic from power and put him in The Hague where he belonged.
God bless you, Gary.
It's now time to put Berisha where he belongs, in jail. Put very bluntly, Berisha is Tadut, Berisha is dictator. And there is no room for dictators in a democracy, so there should be no room for Berisha in Albania. Është koha për Berishën të iki, është koha për ndryshën, poshtë enve Berisha. Post and the Berisha. Post and the Berisha. Post and the Berisha. Post